Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. Medvedev has done it. He's broken the stranglehold of the Big Four for the first time since 2004. You know what? I'll give you the exact date. The 1st of February 2004, the first time since then. We have a world number one who's not named Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Andy Murray, or Rafael Nadal. The last person to hold it was Any Roddick. Medvedev has done it today. When I say today, he's going to be number one on Monday, but it's guaranteed. Djokovic losing to Vesely in Dubai completely opened up the world number one ranking for Medvedev to take on. And he had some very interesting words to say as well. And I think he was very gracious in taking it. You know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to quickly go into and show you the rankings and the movements and why he's managed to clinch it, because I think it's quite important for us to have a look at it. The rankings can be confusing at times, for sure. I can tell you that. Right, so if I share my screen so you can see there. So Daniil Medvedev at the top, you can see they're moving up 180 ranking points. Novak Djokovic losing 410 after losing in the quarterfinals of Dubai. So he will be, look at that. The NCH means that is a career high for Daniil Medvedev, a new career high. You can see the rest of the rankings. Then Nadal at the moment is actually on minus 320, which is interesting. But that might be to do with the fact that he hasn't finished his tournament yet. So he's still now, it says round of 16, but he's now made the semi-finals. He will be playing Daniil Medvedev. But look at that. He reached a round of 16, Medvedev, and that was enough. Losing in the Dubai quarterfinals. So this was an exact kind of snip of when Daniil Medvedev clinched the world number one ranking. I mean, it's a really, really, really interesting moment. It's a landmark moment. And to be honest with you, even though I said about the Big Four, if you want to talk about the Big Three as well, Andy Murray was the first. So the first time he held the number one status was when did he held? Sorry, he held it in. Oh, interesting. So he would also join Andy Murray as the only first-time world number one since Djokovic first reached the top spot in July 2011. So July 2011. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it, though? It's absolutely crazy. Djokovic, I mean, his longest stay atop of the standings lasted 122 weeks, but he's lasted 86 consecutive weeks during this current stint. I mean, he extended as well, so he's reigned in the top spot for 361 weeks now, Novak Djokovic, which is a record. He went beyond Roger Federer's record at the top of the rankings, and it's very intriguing. He will become the 27th player to reach the top spot. Daniil Medvedev as well. It's really intriguing. Really intriguing because Novak Djokovic has been at the top for so long. I mean, he won 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams last year. He has been seen as the player, right? The number one player in the world for such a long time. And I think I want to give Medvedev his dues because, he reached the final of the Australian Open last year and this year. He won the US Open last year. I think he got through his aversion to clay and managed to win on clay, and then also make a quarterfinal as well at Roland Garros, which I thought was impressive. And then on top of that, he's also managed to do something on grass. And I think he will have something to say on the grass this year. Obviously, round of 16 last year. I think he'll go further this year. The world number one status will definitely push him forward. I'd be very interested to see how he does at Roland Garros as well with this new status. I'm not 100% sure as to whether he will be able to keep that status if Djokovic, wins certain tournaments going into that second Grand Slam of the year. But the most important thing for Medvedev is that, well, not important, but one of the biggest factors will be that Djokovic might not be able to play in quite a few of the tournaments because of his vaccination status. So that then gives probably Medvedev a little bit of a buffer, and a buffer that he would have wanted, not in that scenario, of course, but he would have liked to have been. Well, he would like to stay at world number one for as long as possible, you'd imagine, and that will definitely help his cause. In terms of the word said, I mean, he said, look, obviously, a great achievement, and he said, but sometimes tennis is not that important, and I think I don't think, I know he was referencing the conflict in Ukraine, talking about how Russia and obviously Ukraine, don't want to get into it from a political standpoint, but obviously whatever's happening is not peaceful, so it's not ideal whatsoever. And he rightfully pointed out that there's kind of more important things in the world right now. Of course, it's he said it's not a dream anymore; it's a goal. Talking about the world number one ranking, and the fact that Novak Djokovic has been replaced is definitely iconic, and the fact that, as I said, it was since 2004. But what I do want to say is that Vesely, yes, got the win, and I thought it was quite impressive. It's not surprising, though. Novak Djokovic hasn't played all year. So this was his first time playing. And I think, he won the US Open, of course, Medvedev last September. Nadal of winning the Australian Open this year, and then it looks like they're going to meet in the semi-finals of Acapulco, which is going to be a cracker, by the way. I probably would, I would do a watch along if it wasn't at 4 a.m. I might see if I can wake up at 4 a.m. and do it, but we'll see. I just think it's a really impressive feat. Djokovic as well here saying, well played. Vasily, that was a great game. Wish you the best of luck for the rest of the tournament. So congratulations also to a very deserving Daniil Medvedev, who will now become world number one. Very gracious, I think, in the passing of the torch to Medvedev, Novak Djokovic. And to be fair to him, when it's come to things such as this, he's been very, very good. And yeah, I mean, Medvedev before clinching the world number one status, when he beat Andahar and then obviously Djokovic hadn't lost it, he said, if I do, it's going to mean a lot, referencing becoming world number one. It's intriguing to say the least, because now we're going to see sometimes when people take on the world number one status, it does give them that extra bit of fire, a little bit of extra motivation, and their level does increase because they really take it in their stride. Some people might be a little bit scared of it, and you might say, well, what are you talking about? Everyone who's been world number one normally has gone on to be pretty successful in the men's game, and that's recently, yes. But if you look at it in the past, it's not always the case. And also, if you look at the women's game, there's been a lot of world number ones. They haven't necessarily held the pressure particularly well, especially ones who haven't won a Grand Slam and become world number one. They didn't end up going on to win a Grand Slam, right? So I think that kind of says a lot about how much this will definitely play a part in Medvedev's progression and his career. He's going to have a lot. He's going to have a lot to deal with, right? We'll have to see. We'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. In terms of everything else, that's pretty much everything. Of course, there were some words from Rafael Nadal about Daniil Zverev, saying that he'll learn from this, and he felt for a little bit, but said obviously, you can't get away with doing what he did without having some repercussions. And he said I'm sure he'll learn from the disqualification. So that's a little bit on the Acapulco front as well. In debate, Shapovalov is playing a semi-final against. Is it her catch? I don't think it is her catch. I think it's someone else. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, so we've got. So it's on today, actually. Her catch versus Rublev at 1 o'clock. That's going to be a really good one. That's only in a couple of hours' time. and Shapovalov versus Vesely, two lefties going at it, if I'm not mistaken. And then we've got Nadal versus Medvedev in the semi-final of Acapulco, and Tsitsipas will be battling it out as well in the other semi-final against Cam Norrie. Cam Norrie loving it at the moment, and he's coming to a bit of form again, which is good to see. Thanks very much, guys, for tuning in. I do appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you are watching or listening even on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, do give us a rating. Do drop us a follow or subscribe, all that good stuff. Do appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for supporting the channel as always. And I will see you on the next video / podcast. Thank you very much, guys.